just wanted to show you guys where my Monarch butterflies are at this stage. Stay tuned, guys. Prairie Moon Nursery gave me some coupon codes. Hi flower friends, it's Nicole from Flower Hill Farm, and today I want to talk to you about milkweed. Milkweed is amazing in so many ways, but first I want to talk to you about a couple of other things. Number one, a lot of my international viewers who have been unable to purchase merchandise from my website now have the option to go ahead and purchase like Flower Hill Farm sweatshirts, t-shirts, hoodies, stuff like that through Teespring. So it's on my YouTube channel, it's under the store tab, and they ship internationally. So I'm thankful for that because my website, I'm only able to do US shipping right now. So Teespring is gonna take care of the international customers. So yay, I'm so excited about that. I'm adding new merch to it all the time. I just added to my website a Flower Friend t-shirt with my logo on the sleeve. Super excited about that. I can't wait to get mine in. I haven't even gotten it yet. I just designed it the other day, but I hopefully will be adding that to the Teespring website as well soon. Another thing I wanted to mention is that I was the guest this week on the Let's Grow Girls podcast. It's with Sarah and Nicole, number one, and you'll get that when you listen to the podcast. But so they are UK based and they are a cut flower podcast. They talk all things flowers. We recorded the interview on January 1st, so some of the things that we reference won't be as timely as they were, as in like when we're gonna order dahlias and what seeds that I was starting, because it was recorded over a month ago. But the episode was released. I put a link to it down below. It's about an hour long, so if you have yourself a little bit of time, if you're working on your seeds, you can go ahead and take a listen. And also follow them on Instagram because they are interviewing some great people. They just had Georgie Newberry, they had Charles Dowding, Elstramaria Ben, just lots of interesting people, and it's just fun. I've learned something new from every episode. So thank you to Sarah and Nicole for inviting me to be a guest, and I look forward to talking with you guys again soon. It was just like, when you find your flower people, you find your flower people, and you could just chat for hours on end, and it's so much fun, which is how I feel about you guys. So now let's talk about milkweed. So milkweed for me has been something that I have been in love with my entire life. Clearly, I'm living on the same property I grew up on, and I remember when I was a kid, we would always collect the monarchs, but the caterpillars off the milkweed, bring them into school and watch them turn into their chrysalis, and then watch them emerge as the beautiful monarch butterfly, and we would have release parties at school, and it was just something that we did all the time. So now that I am older and have kids of my own, we do this every year, and it's not always with the monarch. We've done it with the painted lady butterfly as well, but since we've been back on this property, we've been doing it with the monarch because all we have to do is walk outside and grab the milkweed that's growing here, which is the common milkweed, which up until recently, I didn't realize there were so many varieties. There are over 100 varieties of milkweed, and each one of them is just as beautiful as the next. And I'm gonna get into some very specific varieties coming up in just a bit, but I wanted to tell you guys that the monarch population has actually decreased by 90% over the past several years, and a lot of that is due to industrialization and the loss of green spaces. The fewer milkweed there are, the fewer butterflies we will have. So it's important to me to kind of fill my landscape with as much milkweed as I can in order to help out the monarch butterflies that we have locally. And I know a lot of friends of mine do this as well. In fact, my aunt just reached out to me a couple weeks ago and said, Nicole, where can I get some milkweed seed? Because they just bought a new property and they would like to establish a butterfly garden as well. So part of my job as a nature coach with kids is to teach them about the relationship between milkweed and monarch butterflies. It's such an important relationship because the milkweed is the exclusive food of a monarch caterpillar. So what happens is a monarch butterfly will come back up after migrating down south, will come back up and lay a single egg on the leaf, on the bottom of a leaf of a milkweed. So the butterfly will float from milkweed to milkweed, laying a single egg on the underneath, on the bottom side of a milkweed leaf. From that egg emerges the tiniest, I mean, it's microscopic, little tiny monarch caterpillar. And it looks exactly like the big one, the little yellow, black, and white stripes. It's just really tiny. I'll have to find some pictures from when we've been raising them for the past few years. And I'll do an entire video series of when we actually do raise them this year because it's so much fun. Really, if you have kids, or even if you're an adult, it's the progress from egg to baby caterpillar, like little baby, to full-size munchin caterpillar to chrysalis to butterfly. It's a magical experience no matter how many times you experience it. And like I said, the milkweed plant is the only plant that the monarch caterpillar, in its caterpillar form, the monarch will only eat the milkweed plant. So without the milkweed, the monarch cannot exist. So I was chatting with Sunflower Steve recently, it was probably maybe 2 months ago, and he mentioned to me about a whorled milkweed. And I was like, whorled milkweed? What the heck is that? He goes, oh, it's a white milkweed. I was like, what? So I look it up, and sure enough, there's a whorled milkweed. And I'm like, how many different kinds of milkweed are there? I knew there were a couple because we do have a few different varieties here, but then I started researching and I just found so many different beautiful varieties. I said, well, I think I have to grow more of these. So that's what I'm doing. So it's important that you look up your location, where you are, what milkweed is going to grow best in your area, because you don't want to bring in any invasive species that is going to take over where it shouldn't be. So all of these milkweed have a suggested range of where it should be growing, at least in the United States. If you live elsewhere in the world, I'm not sure. You'd have to look up your own version of the milkweed, even if I don't even know if monarch butterflies are in Australia, but they probably are, and they probably have a milkweed over there too. I just Googled it, and monarch butterflies are native to North America, but they have been found in other parts of the world. Okay, let's talk about some of the exciting varieties of milkweed that you can purchase seeds for. So a lot of these pictures here that I'm showing you are my own personal photos. Those are from the common milkweed. The rest of the photos are from the Prairie Moon Nursery website, and I've linked it down below. They've also been super generous and given me a coupon code for my viewers to use exclusively. We've got great information. I'll tell you more about that coming up after we talk about the milkweed. One of the seed packets that I'm most excited about is something called the rose milkweed. It's also known as the swamp milkweed, and it's just gorgeous. Some people call it a red milkweed or even a marsh milkweed. It smells like vanilla. So beautiful. It's also deer resistant, and not only is this home to monarch butterflies, but swallowtail butterflies will also use it as well. So it's really, really great for butterflies of all sizes and shapes. Next up, we have the western sand milkweed. Clearly by its name, this is a western variety. It does love to grow in a sandy environment. This has large, pale green and white blooms. We have a poke milkweed. This is often found in woodland settings. So it actually thrives in dappled light. And this is the only, I'm sure there are more, but this is the only one that I was looking at today that actually could grow in the woods, which is kind of cool. I never heard of a milkweed growing in anything other than full sun. So this is even a taller variety, growing up to 5 feet tall. And this is also a favorite snack of rabbits. So the butterflies are gonna have to share this one. Tall green milkweed. Now this is the most prolific flowerer of the entire group, and clearly you can tell that by these pictures. Simply stunning and amazing, up to 100 flowers on each umbel. It prefers a medium wet soil, and it grows best in direct sunlight. It's called a super attractor of pollinators. Next up, we have oval leafed milkweed. This is a petite rare milkweed. It does spread a little bit more aggressively and likes dry, sandy soil. So the flowers are typically green, but as they age, they turn to a white, a pale pink, or even a yellow. This next one is super exciting, but also sold out in many places. I was unable to get a packet of this. It's called purple milkweed. It's very similar to common milkweed, but clearly it has a much brighter color. It's also less floppy than the common milkweed. You'll notice the common milkweed kind of has dangling flowers. This one has a more upright position and appearance. This will bloom for more than a month and does not spread aggressively like the common milkweed does. Next up is showy milkweed, and it's just that. It's showy. I personally think they look like little starfish, super cute. They have long tapered petals covered in fine hairs. This is also less likely to spread than the common milkweed, and it's native mostly west of the Mississippi. For me, the absolute most exciting one is something called butterfly weed, and I love it because of its striking orange color. It sets itself apart completely from the rest of the milkweed. Simply amazing. I cannot wait. I actually ordered a lot of this. And an interesting fact about the butterfly weed, it does not exude that white sap that some people and animals will have an allergic reaction to. So let's talk about that. So the milkweed exudes a sap, and you would only know this if you cut it or broke off a leaf, or say you took the milk pod and ripped it off. There is a white sappy substance that oozes out of there, and that's where it gets its name, milkweed. So some people will have a poisonous reaction to that, similar to a poison ivy or an ageratum or snow on the mountain. I do not have a reaction to that, fortunately. So if you're just growing this for your landscape, it shouldn't really make a difference. You shouldn't have an issue with any of the white sap. But when you raise monarch butterflies, I do cut the stem and bring it inside so the caterpillars will have that. So there are many reasons that we do that, including to keep those little baby caterpillars away from predators that will eat them up and decrease the population. That's why we harvest those baby caterpillars and bring them inside, to make sure that they make it to their full life cycle and turn into a butterfly. But that's another video. So it's important to note that when you buy a milkweed seed and plant it, it's not going to flower its first year. It's not going to flower its second year. It will flower for you its third season. But when you're growing for the monarch butterfly, all it needs is that plant anyway. So the flowers will come. It will be worth the wait. The first year the plant will grow, and it will grow to be a few inches tall. And it's developing that root. Actually, Sunflower Steve told me that some of the milkweed can have a taproot that go 4, 5, 6 feet down into the ground. So they're working on establishing their roots. The second year, it will grow to be a 12 or 18 inch tall plant. And then the third year is when you can expect to get the most height and those gorgeous milkweed flowers. The germination process can be quite tricky. Sometimes there's a very poor germination rate on milkweed, but I am going to be trying a few different methods when my milkweed seed comes in, and I'm gonna bring you guys along with me and show you everything that I'm doing to germinate, because it can take up to 40 days for milkweed seeds to germinate. So I am not going to be putting them straight into the ground. I wanna make sure that I get a good germination, so I'm gonna germinate them inside, and then I'm gonna be planting them out into the landscape, and I'll bring you through that entire process once that starts. Because I'm not gonna see that milkweed bloom for me this first year, these new varieties anyway, I'm also going to be planting once again, a wildflower field. And that's not for cutting, that is strictly for the pollinators. Last year, the wildflower field had a little bit of a late start, but it did end up having some beautiful blooms, and I did end up having a lot of bees and butterflies dancing along the tops of the flowers. It was really peaceful and gorgeous. I loved to just sit there and hang out with all of my pollinator friends. So now let's talk about the coupon code that Prairie Moon Nursery is giving for Flower Hill Farm viewers. So when you go, and if you're ordering milkweed, they also have other native varieties on there. They have Baptisia seeds. They also have started plants that you can purchase. So the coupon code that they've given for you guys is BUZZ, B-U-Z-Z, all capitals. That's $5 off your first order. But they also wanted me to let you guys know that if you go up to the search and type in guide, a booklet will pop up, and you can add that to your cart free of charge. And that is a pocket guide that will tell you the importance of pollinators and how to grow for the pollinators. Prairie Moon specializes in native wildflowers, and they're very passionate about planting things that are native to your region, and I think it's going to be a great resource for you guys when you're trying to build your pollinator patch. So that's going to do it for this video, guys. I want to let you know that that coupon code is good through the end of the year, December 31st, 2021. So anytime you would like to go ahead and make your purchase on Prairie Moon, that coupon code for $5 off your first order will be good. See you soon. Dun, 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 dun. Let's grow, girls. Are we on? Yeah. Hi, flower friends. This is Nicole from Flower Hill Farm. No.